afternoon, everyone, and welcome to our 2-minute warning feature interview, where we're taking a deep dive into this massive push that we're seeing amongst oil and gas stakeholders, energy stakeholders towards decarbonization. Really with the series trying to unlock some knowledge and intelligence that helps stakeholders in this space navigate this massive, somewhat bumpy road towards transition. It's 2 minutes to midnight, and we're joined here today with Mohammed Zaytoun, founder of Zaytoun Green Shipping. Thanks for joining the show.
Thank you, Brian. Thank you.
I just wanted to kick off with essentially taking a step back with some basic knowledge, touching on the fact that we see green this, green that. What exactly is green shipping? The segment that you're currently innovating in. I imagine there's some stakeholders who imagine Greta Thunberg moving across the Atlantic in a solar-powered container ship. That's not really the case. I just wanted to touch on that briefly so our stakeholders kind of at least have some basic foundation behind it.
Okay, thank you, Brian. And actually, this green shipping, green word became like norm in the shipping industry, but actually it is green means efficiency, means profitability, means vision, means proactive and not reactive, to take a step forward, a step ahead in the industry, in the business model, in order to be proactive and profitable unit and company in the industry. So it is not just, let me say, the foggy word, which it is used. I don't believe in this. I believe in the reality. So green means efficiency, means profitability, means success, means vision, means long-term vision, means proactive action, means right investment, means correct decision and wise decision. This is for me the word green.
And touching on, you just mentioned briefly the vision aspect, as we, just want to bring it home here in the Middle East. Are you seeing a current vision laid out, a roadmap here in the Middle East towards transitioning more towards green shipping, towards adopting those practices, or is there current challenges that are kind of slowing it down a bit?
Actually, in the Middle East, I can see there is a slight action moved recently, but in the industry in general, yes, there is a big move, especially the last, even after Corona, actually. So,
you would say COVID has accelerated that transition?
Yes, has pushed to change the mindset, actually, because Corona came just immediately after the low sulfur rules by IMO implemented January 2020. And then if freeze time, few months after the Corona and the pandemic, and nobody knows how to act and react on the Corona in the beginning, but all of a sudden, the second half of 2020 or the third quarter of 2020, everybody sees that he have to make a move. And there are many decisions has been taken towards transition fuel for new building like LNG or ammonia, which if you compare it to before 2020, the number has been increased. And if we just take an example, the new building orders currently between 30 to 33%, the order is on dual fuel LNG. This is if you compare to 2018, 2016, this number has been increased. So this is a good sign that the industry is going towards a wise decision. Of course, we are talking about transition. Yeah. Zero emission will not be achieved by LNG or ammonia or it is just a transition period for 15 to 20 years till the hydrogen became norm for the shipping industry and the technology is available. This is at that time the zero emission will be achieved, but it is a transition period now. The shipping industry has moved a little bit fast. with compared to the last couple of years, which it is good sign.
Well, I mean, leading up to IMO 2020, I think there were so many conversations about how do we, transition, how do we adjust. I think the shipping industry did pretty well, fairly overall, in terms of compliance towards it. We're talking about transition in 15, 20 years. The IMO now has, let's say, short-term measures of cutting, not net zero, but cutting back carbon intensity of all ships by at least 40%. What do you think is the best path forward to achieve this? You're mentioning LNG, maybe alternative fuels. Is it design? Do you think that this is an attainable target?
Each ship owner, he should have his own vision and strategic plan. What suit me for LNG might be not suit you as a competitor ship owner. Maybe you can go for ammonia, or you can go for methanol or whatever. But as of now, the LNG is the convenient transition fuel for at least for the next 15 to 20 years. And I started LNG with the mega container ship. When I'm saying mega container ship, I'm talking about the 20,000 TEU ship, the length of 400 meter overall and 6 meter beam. In 2015, at that time, I brought LNG for the mega container ship. Now, not only the container sector is going for LNG, but I can see the VLCC, even the bulk has gone for LNG. From my point of view, and I can see that the LNG is a convenient transition fuel for the next 15, 20 years, which will play a good role in the CO2 reduction and as well environmental proactive plan. This is one point. The second point, you are talking about ship owner decisions. I have seen till now, because there is massive of new building orders going on in 2021, and the shipyards in Korea and China, they are fully booked till maybe 24, 25 even, which never happened. This is brings the scenario of 2008 and before, when the shipyards were fully booked. But the challenges here, still some ship owner is going for traditional ships, and the questions, the ship, for me, the ship is an asset, and not just a ship from A to B. It is an asset. Your ship owner invests 100 million, 150 million per ship, so you have to consider in the new building stage and construction stage the requirements at least for the next 10, 15 years. Otherwise, you will be out of competition. This is a very important point. Also, when you decide to go for new building ship, you consider the challenges today and the next couple of years. So the OPEX cost has a big role in forming the new building specification, not just the traditional specification available in the draw in the shipyard. No, it is the say of the ship owner, because it is his money and it is his return of investment. So it is a combination of strategy to make it a wise strategy to come to a very strength position with compared to the competitor, and to consider the environmental challenges now.
So when creating, just taking a step back, this strategy and vision that ship owners looking forward in the future, what are the main points that they really have to consider, whether investing in eco-friendly ships or traditional? What would you say is the first steps that they have to take and really form that strategy?
These very good questions. The strategy, of course, you are built, as I said a few minutes back, that you are building, the owner building a ship, which is an asset, for at least 20 years. This is the the average age of any ship. So it means it is investment for 20 years. It is not investment for a year or 2 or 5. Plus, it is a heavy investment, container ship or bulk ship, or we are talking about 70 to 100 to 150, depend, of course, on the type of the ship. So many factors has to be considered from the day one. I'm going for a traditional ships. It means it is just a small period. And after that, I'm going to face challenges because there are environmental requirements and the climate change. All these needs I have to consider in the operation of the ship. Hence, I have to put in my technical specification from the day one all those challenges needed to, and how I'm going to overcome, and how I'll be very stubborn and ensure my unit and my assets is going to be profitable assets, and at least to mitigate the business risk of the challenges of the environmental requirements and the strong push by the politician, especially from Europe and US. It means even I will go for just little high investment in the beginning. I will not feel it, because if I will pay 100 million ship price, and if I do go for LNG or for alternative fuel according to the strategy of the owner, 10 or 10 million as example, I will not feel it. But if I go for retrofit, or after that, the oil price, as we can see yesterday, I was checking, the oil price has reached $80 US. So now that nobody starting from the ship owner start talking about it. Why? Because the freight is unbelievable. The freight cost has never come to such price even for the last 15, 20 years. So the ship owners are making very nice, creamy, profitable, unbelievable profitable.
I see they're starting to now put a cap as well on something.
No one has felt the oil price of $80 US of fuel. If you go back, flashback 1 year back when the oil price reached $50 US, oh, it's high price, and how we are going to make profit, and the OPEX cost is high, and the IMO has pushed for early implementation. So it is actually it needs wise, intelligent leadership, strategy, vision to overcome and to mitigate the risk of the climate change, of the environment in your assets. So you have to not to follow the traditional thinking and just I need the ship to be operated from A to B. Okay, if it is now because the freight is soaring, but it will not continue after a year or 2 or 3. So who is taking decision now for considering the OPEX cost? Because it is not, again, as we have said in the beginning, it is not just the word green or compliance. It is proactive compliance. It is your strategy. It is you are considering the risk for your company for a number of years. So it is an integrated decision has to be made to consider all this before signing the contract with the shipyard.
You mentioned LNG, just on the side note briefly. We're seeing gas shortages, across Europe and supply issues. Do you think there's enough investment right now going into LNG projects, if it's going to be that transition fuel?
Yes, there are many ships going for LNG now, the container, and even recently in the bulk. I cannot say the name of the ship owners, but I can see many bulk ship owners which was not in the pipeline, like say, mainly the container was concentrating on LNG or alternative fuel. But now we can see many bulk ship owners going for LNG. Tanker ship owner is going for LNG. So LNG is a convenient transition. We have to understand, and it is only transition period, LNG period. LNG is not a zero emission fuel. Of course, everybody knows this. So,
but it might be more realistic, right?
First, it is reduction of CO2. So it means I'm proactive as a ship owner. I have to play a role in the environmental challenges. Second, OPEX cost, yes, investment is higher, no doubt about it. But short term and long term is less than the traditional fuel, especially when the industry will back to normal. Normal operation, when everybody feel the high price of the low sulfur. Now nobody feel this. And very important point also, there are already some countries start talking or discussing not only banning the open loop scrubber, even the closed loop. There is some countries, there is a discussion going on, they don't want the scrubbers. How this is going to come, this is also will affect the ship owner which has gone for a scrubber installation. So you have to make a wise decision considering many factors. And as I said, it is not easy, but this is the industry. You have to run your company and mitigate the business risk very well, and consider the challenges which they are going to come in coming years, so we can stand on good stage with compared to the competitor.
And as you said, the ROI investing in eco-efficient vessels, let's say, or in that aspect, works out in the long term. Short term, there might be some speed bumps, but the investment makes sense, and it makes sense for your bottom line, essentially.
Yes, yes. And of course, the oil price is playing a big role. Now by $80, the oil price, and if increased, this is another expectation and prediction and study. If the oil price reach $90, I don't know, I cannot say here, but there is something going on. There is some leak news from here and there that the oil price is going to be more and more than this price.
Yeah.
Then here the formula, the economics is in favor of LNG, and of course the low sulfur price will be different after a couple of months from now, when curve consequences disappeared, which we all hope very soon. There will be more challenges, because again now we are in a situation, the freight is making all of the ship owners very happy. Never happened before, such freight. Charter rate is never happened before. So the OPEX cost is not touchable. Nobody's talk, as I have said, about the oil price, the challenges. It's going to come. And once it's going to come, who has make very good homework and prepare himself very well, he will be saying, yes, I can go, I can have a better freight, I can make good profit. So it is not, again, green, it is not just environmental compliance, it is a strategy of the company itself. This is the most important for me, and actually.
What if you had to put a time frame on that, when you think it's going to come and hit, what would you say? So people doing their homework needs to start doing a little bit more at the moment. It's tough to put an outlook on it, right? A projection, but
as I said, I can see some ship owners, actually, they are very proactive.
Are you seeing more urgency and concern at the moment?
I'm seeing now 3 different models. One is going more positively and actively towards environmental aspects, and selecting the wise transition fuel according to his company strategy. The second, he is buying ships and chartering ship, any type of ship, any standard of ship. He is not looking to the efficiency of the ship. He's not looking to the standard and quality of the ship. This is another model. He wants ship by any means. He is not concentrating how much this ship consumes fuel, how much this ship can stay seaworthy for the next 7-10 years. He just buy a ship. The third one, the third model, he's hesitating whether he go for transition or this is too expensive. So we are seeing three different models, but the two common or two general models now, there are more ship owners going towards traditional transition fuel, LNG, especially I'm talking, my reference here is a number of new orders based on LNG fuel and also methanol as well. The other one, I can see ship owners, he wants to buy a ship, and you have seen, we have seen the used ships price never happened maybe in the history of the shipping industry. The used ship, which price of $10 million US, now it is $25 million US. So we are not, we are in a situation which we cannot say this is going to continue for 5 to 10 years. It will not. It will not. It is for a year or two, and everything will back to the normal industry operational situation. So again, I repeat, the ship owner who is going to take a wise decision, well-strategic decision, he is going to make a good income and long-term profitability. This is what I can see.
Well, I think something as well, just on a tangent, is we're seeing ships being scrapped at a younger age. You mentioned 15, 20 years. There seems to be kind of a trend at that moment. Are you seeing that whole scrapping aspect is being aligned with agendas? And then what do you think the best way to safely recycle ships, in a sense, would be moving forward?
Scrapping ships at younger age, I can see, yes, it's increasing, especially also the steel price is unbelievable. In beginning
which has
of
an environmental impact as well.
Yes, beginning of this year, the steel price was around $800 US per ton. Now we are talking about 1,300 in few months per ton. And this is encourage some ship owners to scrap younger their ships. Then he can take this money with the banks. Now the banks are more free now to give loan and for ship owners, for ship finance. And for the recycling, it is very important, actually, the recycling implementation and processes. I can see due to 𝗕𝗏 situation, the implementation of the low sulfur and IMO rules and for recycling and others, actually, it is not as before 𝗕𝗏 situation, because as example, the port state control, he cannot attend the ships as used to be. So the inspection is not as before, or the follow on implementing the rules is not as before, due to the 𝗕𝗏 situation, as you know, what's going on, the precaution, safety precaution and preventive precaution, and so on. So we are in this 𝗕𝗏 situation. We are not in the normal situation of the shipping industry in operation wise and from all the aspects. We are on exceptional situation. Let me say like this: an exceptional situation. I can see that everything will be going very fast once this 𝗕𝗏 goes and ended, hopefully soon. In terms of more ship owner will go for alternative fuel, recycling compliance, environmental compliance, because this will be pushed by all authorities and regulations. IMO will be more free to come and to follow and to implement. The politician, especially the European politician, American politician, and also the Chinese, everyone he wants to say, I'm environmental compliance and proactive environmental compliance. So this will have an effect on the shipping industry and on forcing the compliance for recycling, for CO2, for gas emission, and also the gas emission. This is another story, gas emission compliance, not only CO2 compliance. But we are on a period that we have to move on and to make an action plan how to overcome this.
Well, it seems if you follow that environmental standard compliance protocols, you actually might set yourself up for better opportunities for financing and investment as well. As we're seeing across the industry, things shift in that space too, with traditional oil majors, for example.
Yes, for the finance side, I can see now the banks and the finance start digested the needs of environmental ship. Just before, the ship owner, he used to get charter party contract and go to the bank and say, oh, this is my charter party. The bank never consider how it's going to be the ship. That's it. But now that they start asking the ship owner, how we are going to operate your ship, how we are going to implement the compliance of low sulfur, and which this is very good, because you cannot give money to a good owner who is investing in environmental compliance, let me say like this, and the ship owner he wants to stick to the old-fashioned, old school of operating ships, very traditional ships. So here you have to appreciate and you have to support the ship owner who's taking decision, investment, mitigating the business risk. This has to be appreciating, not just charter party contract and take the 500 million and how we are going to return the loan. I can see now the banks has positively, even have been told that they are hiring some specialists in the banks to go through the technical specification before granting the ship owner, which is a good sign. I'm happy to see this as one of the industry people. Yeah.
It's just one more thing to add to homework for ship owners, as you mentioned earlier, with creating their strategy and vision to at least acknowledge that fact too. It seems that we're coming up. It's 20 minutes goes by pretty quickly. I just wanted to wrap up looking at, let's say, the short term, the year ahead. What signals are you looking for coming up that will really kind of give you an indication that things are accelerating even more in this segment? You know, we have COP26 that's coming up with governments and industry from around the world meeting. Of course, as you mentioned, there's certain market dynamics going on. What are you really looking as a signal over the coming, let's say, 6 months that will really kind of be a trigger where you see things are turning the corner a little bit more?
I cannot tell you a specific period, but what I can say, I'm sure once this corona circumstances ended, then the mindset, all of us, our mindset, let's say quarter of our mindset with corona and the effect of corona and the consequences of corona. So this is, we are as a person, but also as a government and as a countries, this is taking half of their mindset. So once this corona disappeared and now we can see positively things start back into normal, I can see that the things will move very fast than more than any expectation, because we realized that The lesson learned from Corona that the environmental aspects has to be implemented stringent, even more than what has been planned before. So it is not, I can see that the period would be shorter in compliance with environmentals, IMO, and climate change, and there will be more push to the shipping industry. This is my expectation. I can see the time will be shorter than expectation for more compliance and effective compliance.
So essentially what we've seen over the past year and a half towards this transition isn't just a flash in the pan, it's here to stay, with even diving a bit deeper into it. But thank you very much, Mohammed, for joining us today and of course sharing your insights. We appreciate it, and our stakeholders listening, of course, have gained some valuable knowledge. For those listening as well, feel free to follow Mohammed on social media for further updates in this space and intelligence, and of course Gulf Intelligence on LinkedIn, Twitter, where this interview will be published, and also as well more content around our Energy Transition Dialogues initiative. But thank you very much, Mohammed, for taking the time. I appreciate it.
Thank you, appreciating, and sorry for the net issue at the beginning, appreciating, and thank you very much. Thank you very much.